We look at you or?
Look right here. Ryan, Bellator represented here, NFL Media Row. This is unbelievable. Is this your first Super Bowl Media Row?
That's my first time. It's crazy here. It's fun though. You get to jump around quite a bit. Makes it easy to get a bunch of different content in, and I'm having a good time so far.
Are you a football fan?
Yeah, I am. Yep.
Who do you like? I mean, is there any a team you grew up with or anything like that?
Well, I grew up in Reno, Nevada, right? And so the Raiders are the closest team. So I grew up being a kind of diehard Raiders fan. Kind of hard to keep being a diehard Raiders fan, but maybe when I'm in Phoenix now, so maybe when they move to Vegas, it'll be, I'll pick it back up. But
yeah, it's interesting because now they're coming to your area.
Yeah,
I mean, you're
you know, we're an hour flight from there, and it'd be nice to get back and support a team. I've been kind of a free agent, just roaming around.
It's interesting too because you'll see football players that have tried MMA.
Yeah.
And get into the business. What do you think about that dynamic of the attitude, the aggression of pro football players?
Oh yeah, it transfers over. They just chose to, you know, put their efforts into football. You know, which is a smart move. You know, and if they have that talent, so they're physical. They know how to work hard, and that transfers over to mixed martial arts really, really easily, and it's very applicable. So, I mean, they're the more and more of those athletes that come in. It's going to be really, really scary in a couple of years.
How do you feel about your career, things that you've accomplished, what you still want to accomplish?
Yeah, you know, I'm sitting here. I have, you know, I'm a dual champion. It's been a great year, great couple of years, and I got to win it with beating one of the legends of the sport. So that was a huge highlight in my career. But I feel the best I've ever felt, and I feel like I have more to prove and more to show, and I can't wait to show the world.
Heavyweight champ, light heavyweight champ. Tell us about your next big fight coming up.
Yeah, so I've been fighting at heavyweight probably my last, 4 fights, and now it's time to go back and defend the light heavyweight. And fighting on May 9th on Paramount TV on fighting Vadim Nekov. A really good Russian guy coming out. He's beat 4 former champions in a row. Good win streak, and it's going to be a good dynamic fight. I'm excited about this one. There's going to be fireworks for the fans, and we're ready to go.
How do you feel as a fighter compared to when you first started and now?
It's night and day. When I first started fighting, you know, I was a wrestler. I was a Division I All-American. I came in, and everybody, you talk about it like, oh, I'm going to fight. It sounds fun. Your first fight, you're standing in the cage, you're like, what am I doing? What road did I go down to have myself in a cage locked about to fight another man, you know? And for me, it was all about competition. Yeah, so as it progressed, I got more comfortable and more comfortable to the point now where it's slowed down and I can see, hear, feel things that I didn't when I first started. I can think in there, where as at the beginning I was fighting off emotion and instinct. Now, you know, I'm tactical in there, I know what I'm doing, and it's a lot better and more freeing for sure.
Do you find yourself that if you're not now, that later on you would be a good coach or teacher?
Yeah, I've always felt I've been doing that for a while. You know, I've been coaching wrestling. I've been doing, you know, I'm always coaching MMA basically. You know, just like the people before me, as far as in the gym, helped me out, and they still do. I help the younger guys that coming up, and I'm always going to be involved in the sport somewhere or another.
Was it important to learn something else with MMA, not just amateur wrestling, when you're coming into the MMA?
Absolutely. We kind of came in quick, you know, and so we had like 3 months to try to learn how to kind of be proficient at some kind of boxing. And granted, we were fighting at the lower levels where we could just use our wrestling and get away with it. But for my first 10 fights, I learned in the deep pool of like the UFC of how to fight, how to strike. You know, jiu-jitsu kind of came like decently easy, but the striking is always evolving. I'm always learning to, you know, 14 years in, I'm still trying to improve.
Arizona State University, that was where you made your mark.
Yep.
In collegiate wrestling.
Yep.
Did you have aspirations of the Olympics?
No, so I went to ASU, got a scholarship, was a couple-time All-American. I wrestled since I was 7 years old. I was burnt out. I was done. Senior year, I sucked it up, became All-American. After that, I didn't want to go to the gym if I didn't want to, right? So I was like, I'm going to live this life. I saw all my friends having fun, partying. I'm like, I want to live that life for a little bit. A month in, immediately I missed it, regretted competing, started training MMA and went from there and just kind of rolled.
And Ryan, in that, how did you get to MMA? And were you always training with Power MMA Team?
Yeah, well, no, not originally. Originally I came when I was at Arizona Combat Sports, and went in there and was a wrestler, right? And learned kind of from the ground up everything else. And I look back. I was kind of like I don't want to look back and say, oh, woulda, coulda, shoulda. And so I was like, my time is now. Let's try our hand at mixed martial arts. I did. A couple local fights, got on the Ultimate Fighter on Spike TV, and just kind of snowballed from there. And I never had time to think of anything else.
Ryan, we see so much crossover nowadays, especially with pro wrestling and MMA. And whether you were a pro wrestler or MMA fighter, it's been translating well with these combatants, fighters into it. Specifically, we'll talk Bobby Lashley and Jake Hager. Bobby's been WWE doing a lot of that right now. Jake has been doing more of the Bellator. They're heavyweights. What are your thoughts of them and how they've transitioned?
I went on a little press tour with Jake. So he was a Division I wrestler first and foremost, All-American. So he had that background, right? And Ashley had his background, and immediately that's going to leapfrog you above somebody that's just trying to get into MMA. Being a really accomplished wrestler like that, that's what makes them successful and able to jump in really quick and keep it rolling. So
Brock Lesnar,
Brock Lesnar,
one.
Exactly. So they have that foundation there, and they're going to do well because they have that foundation.
Are you interested in pro wrestling?
I'm interested in anything and everything, That's what I loved about coming to Bellator. I got to do the Heavyweight Grand Prix tournament, and, I got to do different stuff. I'm open to that kind of stuff, So it's been fun, and, I tell the heads over here, I got to go on Family Feud, all that kind of stuff. Anything like that, I'm ready.
I was going to ask you because of the promo, because so much about professional wrestling sports entertainment is the trash talking and things like that. How do you think you would do in that area?
Man, I would have to practice, right? And I'd have to totally just all right, I don't care what people think of me, I'm just going to go that route. Because that's not me right now.
I think what you do is Brock Lesnar has this guy, Paul Heyman, who's unbelievable. He's like his manager, agent, spokesperson. I'm just saying, Ryan, don't even worry about it. Get someone like that. Yeah, have the guy do all that.
Back it up, right?
Yeah. That's all you have to do.
There you
just
go.
Like you do
just
like do a Bellator. Yes. All right, Ryan, is there anything else you want to talk about the upcoming fight that you have? Just again, tell us about the upcoming fight.
May 9th on Paramount Network. It'll also be streamed on the Zone app. And like I said, this Russian guy is really good, and obviously I have a belt for a reason. So we're going to be fighting tooth and nail to keep that belt and for him to get that belt. But I'm not going to let it happen.
I know you don't want to look ahead. I know that you got to focus on this fight. But maybe down the road we could see you and Jake battling it out.
Yeah, you never know. He's coming up pretty quickly, so that's definitely. I don't see him losing anytime soon. So, like I said, we're friendly, went on tour, but business is business. So,
Ryan, I want you to just tilt your head a little bit, tilt it down a little more. I want to see that hat because you got to get that Bellator MMA NYC. That's a cool hat. Is that one of your favorite hats there, or just decided I'll wear it today?
This hat I got when I won the title, so it's a little special to me.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Appreciate it.